Hello everyone and welcome to another edition of Hit the Cut, the only baseball-only podcast on the 620 WDAE iHeartRadio app. Jay Recher, Paul Russo here with you today. Another beautiful day outside. I feel like we say that every show, but we're lucky living in Florida, man. We really are.
Today is beautiful. Not a cloud in the sky, about 80 already today, and it's going to be a beautiful day.
Spring training in full effect now. We got the local Saladino tournament with the best high school talent around. Surprised there's not more coverage for the Saladino tournament. A lot of former Major League ball players played in the Saladino tournament. It's a staple of the Tampa community, and just great baseball every year.
It used to have huge coverage, Jay, and I don't understand why it doesn't anymore. Used to be there was an article every day about it. People at the games. I just can't understand why it's not publicized.
I wonder if that goes hand in hand with lack of attendance at the Rays. You know what I mean? If it's a baseball thing where if you get people interested more in baseball early on, you know what I mean? Maybe it'll filter down to the younger generations, and then you'll fill the stadium down in
Yeah, no, that's true. But with the Tony Saladino tournament, him and his wife have always done a great job. I just don't think there's as much coverage anymore. I think there's still a lot of people that go to the games, but I don't understand why there's not even TV coverage on it, reporting on it.
It's only like the semifinals and the finals. I think Bright House gets on there and does that. You follow us on Twitter at Hit the Cut. Also our Facebook page at Hit the Cut. You can follow Paul at Cigar Guy Online and Hit Factory Tampa. You can follow myself at Jay Recher. Getting more and more likes, man.
Getting a lot of interest. A lot of people are listening in and liking what we have to say.
If you've been tuning in with us the last couple of weeks, we've been doing our top 10 lists, and we've settled on the top 10 third baseman today. Warning: watch out, David Wright, because Paul is coming for you. He is not happy about the Noah Syndergaard thing. They seem like they're on the same page now.
Well, I think so.
But are you going to hold it against him?
Oh, I'm holding it against him.
Yeah,
that's for sure.
Sorry, David. So you might not be happy with your
He's not in my top 15. Let's
put
it that way.
My gosh, he's got to be in your top 15.
No chance. No chance.
All right, man. Well, let's get this thing cracking like we have done. Number 10 out of the top 10 third baseman, Paul Russo. Who do you got?
I'm going with Nick Castellanos from Detroit.
Nick Castellanos. He's not even in my top 20.
Oh yeah, he's way better than David Wright. I can tell you.
Oh, you are.
And he's an up and comer. He's an up and comer.
Drunk. 259 last year. Oh my God, are you sure?
Oh, I'm positive.
You sure?
I'm positive.
We can give you a redo.
No, I'm positive.
We can stop the tape, go back, and you can do it again if you want.
I'm positive.
I can't believe I'm writing this right now.
Yeah. Oh,
so what do you like about Nick Castellanos that makes him the 10th best third baseman?
I like that he's very good defensively. He came into a lineup that has some big time players in it. He's going to settle in, I think, in the next 2 to 3 years, Jay, as one of the best in the top 5 in the next 2 to 3 years. I just put him in my top 10. I watched him play a lot last year. A lot like Manny Machado. I like the guy.
All right. I see your reasoning, and I'm going to raise you.
Okay.
My number 10, guy didn't see a lot of action last year, but he's definitely one of the brightest young stars in the game. We don't hear from him much because he's on the West Coast, but Nolan Arenado is my number 10 for the Rockies. In my mind, between him and Machado, I think he may be the best defensive third baseman in the game. Arenado makes every play. Bare hand on the run, backhand.
Disgusting bare hand.
Great. I mean, that's probably the best left side of the infield in the majors with Tulowitzki at short and Arenado at third. He's got to get off the injury bug, but I had to get him in my top 10. The guy can stroke. He plays great defensively, and I just think this guy playing in Colorado, we know what that does to guy stats like your boy Justin Morneau.
Absolutely.
But I think Arenado's poised for a great year, and we could see this guy reminds me of like a Scott Rowland type, where he's going to be able to be a Gold Glove player every year, and he's going to probably hit 300 every year as well. He's got the protection in the lineup with Cargo and Tulowitzki, and I think he's good enough himself where even if they weren't there, I still think he'd be able to be.
Well, you got to add more Noah in that list too. So he's got protection with all those.
Look at you! Look at you!
I'll give him a little
defending
credit.
your boy more.
But I didn't have him in my top 10, Jay, just because of the injury bug. But the guy it's going to be a great future for Major League Baseball with these guys coming up, because there's so many young, good third basemen that I don't even have on the list.
I was thinking the same thing too. I thought the third baseman, I don't want to say I thought that it was shallow, as far as the pool of how good the guys are, but the more I looked into it, I was like, we could really make a top 15.
Oh, absolutely.
Because there's
David Wright's still not in the top 15.
because that's harsh, man. Because especially at third base, you have a good mix of young guys coming up.
Right.
You've got some guys that have done good for a few years, and then you got guys that have been there for a little while.
Right.
So there's,
Oh, it's a great range.
Yeah,
it's
it sure
a great
is.
range. You got young guys, you got guys, like you say, that have been there for maybe 5 or 6 years, and then you got guys that are almost retiring.
Yeah.
That have been there for a long time. And third base, you got power guys there, you got defense. I think it's the best position in the major leagues when you talk about defense and power all together.
A dual, yeah, definitely a dual thing, because you got to be athletic to be able to play third base.
Absolutely.
The hot corner's probably one of the toughest positions to play on the field.
Absolutely.
And you want your corner guys to be power guys. So it's not like a middle infielder or a catcher or a center fielder where it's like, all right, well, the defense is the premium, so sometimes if they're not
Right.
the greatest hitter, you'll live with that
Right.
because of their defensive prowess. But at third, you kind of need the guy to be both.
You got to have them bang. You got to have them bang balls out of the ballpark, and it's one of the only positions that you got to have a cannon and be able to come in and field a bunt.
Yeah, that's true.
I mean,
Just don't come after you.
They will bunt you to death. They will bunt you to death.
Let's slide it up to the number 9 spot. Paul, who do you got coming in at number 9?
Now this guy is going to be a top fiver in the next 2 years. Wasn't going to put him on the list just because he was a utility guy, but
Okay.
I'm going with Josh Harrison.
Wow, Josh
Because
Harrison all the way down at 9.
9, just because he wasn't a full-time third baseman. He played a little bit of second at the beginning. Now he's going to be their full-time third baseman. And like I say, this time next year, he'll be in my top 5 if he stays healthy.
I've seen some lists at top third base, and they have him as high as number 2.
Yes.
Which
yes.
I can understand, but I think a lot of that is kind of, speaking at the moment, you know what I mean, talking about what just happened. I think it's tough when you have lists like that because you do have to project forward how guys are going to do, and then you have to look at a track record. It's tough for, like you said last week with Jose Altuve.
That's
You
right.
see a guy have one big year, it's tough to anoint him the next coming of Jesus. You know what I mean?
That's the hard part. And Josh is such an exciting player. I enjoy watching him play, but he's got to put in 162 at third base to prove that he's a third baseman, not a guy that could play second, short, and third. If you're going to be on this top 10 list, you got to be a third baseman that plays 162.
I actually had him at number 2 at one point yesterday, and I slowed him down a little bit, but yeah, I could definitely see, that's why I didn't have him as high as I did originally because of that.
Right.
So you did one good year, and you weren't even, Pedro Alvarez was the third baseman.
Exactly. Yeah.
Now he's sliding over to first, and Harrison will be the full-time
And
third
that guy
baseman.
drops bombs.
Yeah, he sure does.
But he's as big as a house right now.
Yeah,
I mean, now that they moved him to first base, he got a little bit wider.
Diets considerably change
Yeah.
when you cross the diamond.
Considering he went to Vanderbilt, he should know a little bit about how to eat. I don't know.
Yeah. All right, my number 9. This guy is a perennial postseason performer. Not as consistent in the regular season. Doesn't put up huge numbers. I go Pablo Sandoval. This guy, if he hit in the regular season the way he did in the postseason, he'd be higher up on my list. But he seems like to be a perennial 260, 270 guy, between 15 and 25 bombs and between 70 and 85 RBI. So
No.
it's not bad. I mean, those aren't
Not
bad
bad.
statistics, but if you look at what he does in the postseason, you think this guy bats 300
All right.
with 30 and 100.
Well, I have him a little bit higher, but I definitely agree with everything you said. He's just a guy that's a prime time player, and he shows up big in the playoffs. Now, like you say, if he did that during the season, he might be a guy that might be the best third baseman
Yep.
of all time.
Yeah.
If he played during the season like he does in the playoffs.
Yeah, he'd definitely be in the top 2 or 3 if he was as consistent. Just judging by the first 2, I feel like the only one we may agree on is probably number 1.
Yeah, maybe.
It might have been like that last week too. We got to
Yeah.
check the tape. Number 8 on your list. This is where I think this middle area is really. It's going to be
It's
interesting
gonna
to
be
see
surprising.
because I don't think we have anything alike. I don't even think my next 2 guys you even have on your list, but
No.
we'll see. Number 8, who do you got?
This guy, he's an old guy. He's about to retire.
Oh, I don't have him. on this.
Aramis Ramirez.
Aramis, okay.
Yeah.
He was on the. I have him just missing the cut at number
Yeah.
10. But a big power bat.
Still a guy that can swing it, got good range, still has good range at 36 years old. and still plays a position extremely well. A leader on his ball club, and I heard yesterday he's going to retire. So
Yeah, after this year,
yeah.
I believe.
So you know, he's been a great third baseman for many years.
Wherever
And,
he's went to, start Pirates, Cubs,
yeah.
and Brewers.
I actually played against him when he was with the Pirates coming up in AAA, and when he was 19, when I tell you this guy has done a 180 on what he used to be on the field compared to now. He was lazy, showboat, and now he's a team leader. It just shows you how you can age and become a different guy from being a snotty kid to now being a team leader. But to me, one of the best third basemen in the game.
But we've been hearing that a lot living in the Tampa area about the whole Jameis Winston thing, and we're trying to rake him over the coals for things that he did as a teenager.
Yeah, you gotta give guys a chance.
Yeah, you gotta be patient. Yeah. And if we all had cameras, or if they had camera phones when I was 18, man, I don't know if I'd be here right now.
You wouldn't even have a job anywhere.
Probably not, brother. So we gotta, before we start judging people on what they do as kids, they're kids.
But I think the problem is, Jay, is people are jealous because of the fame they get and the money they get.
They think they should be holier than thou.
Exactly.
It's not realistic.
Exactly. Now they're playing judge and jury, and
and execution.
Exactly. And definitely execution.
There we go. All right, my number 8. I guarantee you don't have this guy on your list.
Okay.
Anthony Rendon.
Oh, I have him on the list.
Oh, you do? All right.
Of course,
Yeah.
Washington Nationals, buddy.
I love Anthony Rendon.
Absolutely.
This guy right here reminds me of a guy, I want to say Paul Molitor, not because of the swing, but just a guy that he can hit. You can tell this guy can hit. He reminds me of, you can just tell these certain guys that they can fall out of bed. Kyle Tucker from Plant. Even say my buddy Jordan Lala, a guy that doesn't play baseball all the time, doesn't really, but he can just roll out of bed and hit.
When you can hit, you can hit.
When you can hit, man, it's not a mechanical thing where it's like, all right, if you tweak this, some guys can just do it. Rendon, he made them take one of their all-time guys, Ryan Zimmerman, and say, you need to find a different position. I think he led the majors in runs. I know he's got the only guy at all the third basemen with 100. Yeah, 111. 287, 21 home runs, 83 RBIs. I think this guy's poised for even a bigger
I got some good inside info because, of course, he plays with the Nationals.
Your boy Randy North.
Randy North tells me, he said, Paul, this guy's just amazing.
He's legit.
He just puts the bat on the ball consistently. He's amazing.
I like Anthony Rendon. I think he could, let me go on a limb. I think he may be an MVP candidate this year in that lineup. With the pitching staff, I think Bryce Harper is going to mature. I think he'll help out. We'll talk a little bit about an injury that they sustained in the outfield, but I think they'll be able to get through it.
They got a great lineup.
Yeah,
I don't know how they weren't in the World Series last year.
But it takes more than talent.
Oh no,
it really
absolutely.
Does. Everything's got to come together. The matchups, the pitching. Well, I know what happened last year. Madison Bumgarner.
Some guy didn't name him. Yeah.
Bryce Harper had a great playoff too. You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
So for all the stuff that people say about how bad Bryce Harper is,
and he's a kid too, Jay. I mean, he's a kid. What is he? 21, 22?
Yeah.
I mean, come on.
Young dude.
Yeah.
But they still got plenty of time. But with guys like Fister and Zimmerman and Ian Desmond, this is all their last year of their contract. I doubt they'll keep any of those three.
Did you see Ian Desmond? I saw him the other day on TV. He's got a fro with a beard. He looks like a guy from 1970. A hipster.
Cheech and Chong in the house. All right, let's slide up to number 7, Paul. Who do you got in the 7?
Okay, I got Sandoval at number 7.
Pablo, Kung Fu Panda at 7.
Yes.
Okay, that's a pretty good spot for him.
Jay, and
I think he's between 7 and 10.
Yeah, there's no question. He's a guy that I don't know if he's just not motivated. You could tell by his physical appearance.
His fluctuating weight.
And listen, I'm a guy that struggled with my weight playing all the time.
Yeah.
But if I ever weighed what that guy weighed, they would have released me on the first day. I mean, he's a guy that just by the way he looks, you could tell he's not disciplined all the time. Mm-hmm. And if he was a guy that was disciplined, he could be the number 1 guy. I mean, he just got serious money from Boston. But I think if he was a little more disciplined, he'd be a better third baseman.
Yeah, he talked a little bit about how he felt slighted from the beginning of last year over his contract with the Giants. And he knew then that he wasn't going to re-sign after the season. Now, when you're the Giants, a guy like Brian Sabian, they're loyal to their players.
Absolutely.
But you also have to make a good business decision. They've had weight issues with him in the past. I believe he was off the roster their first World Series championship.
Yeah, he was.
I think they left him off the roster. And that just shows you, man, it's a what have you done for me lately league. but you also have to project and say, well, what is this guy going to do? Does he seem like a guy that's going to rest on his laurels and be like, well, I just won another championship? Or is he guy going to be hungry and motivated to get another one? I would take the former rather than the latter, you know?
No, absolutely, and you can tell he's rested on something, because that gut he had coming into spring training. Now, he might be a guy, Jay, that might lose 25 pounds in spring training, and he just enjoyed the offseason a little bit too much, but, you know, I don't know.
All right, my number 7 hole is a guy that had a career year last year. Was rewarded handsomely with a nice contract. Kyle Seager from the Seattle Mariners.
Can't argue with you there.
Number 1 as far as fielding percentage. We're not big number guys, but fielding percentage is as old as the day.
Defense is important.
It's as old as the day is long. The number 1 fielding percentage out of all third basemen last year. You know, and when you hit 25 jacks, 96 ribbies, and you get a nice contract.
Playing in Seattle.
Playing in Seattle in a tough ballpark to hit in.
If that guy played in Yankee Stadium, you might be able to double his home run numbers.
He might be an MVP candidate for sure. I think he's going to do another great job of hitting this year. Defensively, I think he'll do another stellar job. You're adding Nelson Cruz to that lineup. It's huge.
Now you got
lefty.
and Seager, Cruz. I mean, that with the best pitcher in baseball on top of it.
Yeah, of course.
You
of course you say that. But you're going to be able to go lefty, righty, lefty, I think, which is good. So you're not going to, you're not going to piggyback Seager and Cano. You got Cruz to cut him in half.
Right.
I like that a lot. I think it's a great move. I think he's one of those guys that he may not even be the best player in his family. I know his brother Corey.
Is coming up. He's an up and
Dodgers, I think.
Up and comer.
So
he's in big league camp too right now.
Yeah.
I saw him play the other day.
Mom and Dad Seager.
I wonder what they were doing.
They're not going to worry about car payments or mortgage payments.
Not for a while.
Not for a while. Let's go to number 6, Paul. Who do you got in the 6 hole?
I got Kyle Seager.
Kyle Seager. Okay. Our list is a little
not bad.
Great minds think alike, man.
Yeah. I'm just out there a little bit on the other guys.
All right, coming up, it'll probably be.
And if you have David Wright on that list, I might jump across this table.
I do have David Wright.
Oh, jeez. For the
number 6, Tampa's own, Evan Longoria.
Are you kidding?
I think he's one of the better third basemen in the game. Why you have him higher?
Yeah.
I just think that he's not as good as he was when he first came here. I think he's definitely regressed a little bit in his pitch selection and his ability to drive the ball to all fields. To me, his swing is such like a slow pitch softball swing. He's got this big standing, he's so erect, he stands straight up, he's got that open stance, and he just flails at the ball. His lack of in-at-bat adjustments is something that's alarming to me as a baseball coach, where a couple years ago you threw him a hanger and he fouled it down the third baseline.
Right.
If you threw the hanger again, he hit it over the center field fence. Now, guys are doubling up on pitches and getting him out and striking him out.
Well, I think now they know his hole. His hole is definitely down and away. And his slider is the hardest pitch for him to hit.
Yep.
And when it's the hardest pitch for you to hit, and you can't lay off of it, you know, it's a bad situation. But the guy still had 21 jacks and almost 100 ribbies. So for struggling as much as he did, you know, I still think he's one of the top. But we'll talk about that when we get up there.
I agree. I see what you're saying. For a guy that he hasn't driven in 100 rounds in 2 or 3 years now, that's a problem for me. You know, if you're going to be paid this, he's not getting paid great.
He's not getting paid anything.
Let's not use the contract. But if you're expected to be one of the best players in baseball, forget on your own team. I feel like you got to drive in 100 runs. There's guys with less protection around him and less, not as good offenses driving in 100 runs, and he's not.
Well, Jay, the Rays' offense is terrible.
That's true, but he doesn't.
The only guy he's got is Loney, and
yeah, he's not a big power.
He's a punch and Judy.
The thing is with Longoria, though, it seems like he grounds into a lot of double plays, and he's not the greatest hitter with runners in scoring position. And he just lacks, at times I feel like I know everybody's going to say, oh, game 162. Listen, the Yankees threw that game.
Exactly.
Okay, if you don't think the Yankees threw that game, you're nuts.
They were playing against Double-A teams.
Yeah.
So.
Scott Proctor was on the team for 2 weeks, and he was pitching his 3rd inning. And by the time that game was at the end, there was I don't think any Yankee starter was in the game. So let's not act like he's this big clutch performer, because I think that's a little bit of a misnomer there.
Oh, absolutely, absolutely.
So I think I do love Longoria. I love his attitude. The few times I got to speak with him, just a tremendous guy, great for the baseball world. But I just feel like he's the 6th best third baseman.
Well, you know, and listen, I can't argue with you on it. I could tell you that I think the guy has underachieved.
Yes, I
There's
agree.
no question he's underachieved. Now, I don't know if he doesn't have a lot of stability from the hitting coach job or have guys talk to him, but you know, when guys are getting paid, they have a reluctance to change. And, you know, you gotta make adjustments. Like we tell the kids, Jay, that play for us, you gotta make an adjustment every pitch, every game, every inning. This game's all about adjustments. And if you can't friggin' hit a slider in a game, then make an adjustment. Don't stand so deep in the box, or have enough discipline not to swing at it. And I know it's hard because,
Easier said than done.
right, you know, it's
But
easier
still,
said than done, but make an adjustment.
You got to study the game. You should be a student of
Absolutely.
the game above all else.
Absolutely.
All right, guys, we will be right back with our top 5 third basemen. Expect some fireworks here in this next segment. Paul's probably not going to like my top 5, and I'm probably not going to agree with his top 5. We'll be right back with that right after this. Okay, guys, we are back on Hit the Cut. Jay Recher, Paul Russo here with you. Our top 10 second basemen. We already did 6 through 10. 1 through 5 coming up. It's going to be interesting.
Oh, yeah.
It's going to be
This
interesting.
might be a top 5 ring around ball buster right here. Because nobody knows who we got.
Nobody knows. All right. Well, number 5, which is let's start the fireworks now. Number 5. Who do you
I
got?
got Longoria number 5.
Longoria 5.
Yeah, I still think, you know, he's one of the top 5 third basemen. Face of the franchise. I just think, Jay, if somebody in that organization could get with the guy and really focus on him being a better hitter, he could be the best third baseman in the big leagues. If he had a guy like Gary Denbo from the Yankees or Kevin Long that's now with the Mets, that used to be with the Yankees, a true student of hitting, I think they could help that guy become one of the best third basemen of all time, because he's got pop. He's great defensively. And I think the guy should be a 330 hitter, not a 260 hitter.
I agree.
You know, there's no question in my mind he's got that type of potential.
And I think that's why I had him so low, is because I don't think he's a 300 hitter. I think he's a 315, 320
Absolutely.
hitter.
You
The
know,
potential's there.
and the potential's there to hit 40 bombs every
Exactly.
year. He's a guy, Jay, that, I don't know, maybe he's pissed off that he signed a bad contract or
Yeah.
something, but
We're seeing all his friends leave.
yeah, you know, but he's the face of the franchise, and he's going to be that. I don't know what his contract goes through.
I think 2020 or something.
Is it really
Yeah,
that
that's
bad?
a long time, yeah.
Wow. So
Well, do you think-
maybe he's upset with that.
You're talking about the coaching, and we see this sometimes. Do you feel like sometimes the Rays need to work on everybody else, and he kind of gets lost by the wayside? We know this coach in travel ball.
Right.
You know, if you have certain players that are far and beyond a little, better than the rest of your team,
Right.
sometimes they could get lost in the shuffle.
No, absolutely.
Because they don't get the same attention, because the other kids, I don't want to say need it more,
Right.
but to get them to, perform at the level of that top player, you have to spend more time with them.
No, at the big league level though, I think it should be a lot different. I mean,
You think it should?
it should be,
But could it
you know,
be? Could it?
I-
Well, I'm not saying
No,
that
it definitely
but
could
it could be. Yeah.
Absolutely, but I look at the Rays team. You look at Looney, which I think,
Loney or Looney?
whatever, he's
Looney.
Looney in my book, but Loney isn't Loney.
Number 10 to
Yeah,
me.
but he's a quality big league hitter. You had Ben Zobrist, good hitter. The catching, of course, terrible. I think the 2 biggest disappointments, in my opinion, in their lineup was the shortstop and the third baseman.
Yeah.
Because Escobar, every time he went to the plate, he tried to hit one 700 feet. And I think Longoria,
I was not an Escobar guy at
No.
all.
not,
Terrible attitude.
well, anytime you go
Overrated
up to the
fielder.
plate, definitely overrated fielder.
Overrated fielder. He
You
was
know-
one of those guys where if everything's on the up and up, he's good. When everything's not on the up and up, he's a head case.
And we'll see how he does this year.
Well, I think he'll be fine this year because nobody's going to even care. He's just going to go out there, and nobody's going to care to rely on him because he's playing second base now.
Right.
You know what I mean? He's going to bat probably 7th or 8th, and he'll realize that hey, the world don't revolve around me. So
No,
he'll
that's
probably,
for sure.
He'll probably be on his best behavior.
Well, I hope so. If not, when you get shipped out, when you keep getting shipped out of places, you're out of the
He
league.
got traded twice in the offseason.
Yeah. In a week,
I
right?
think it's the second time he's got traded twice in the offseason.
Wow, that's
you know,
that's not good.
What does that tell you, brother?
Yeah, I hear
My
that.
number 5, I'm going to duck before you throw your pen at me. David Wright from the New York Metropolitans.
The biggest disappointment in the history of third baseman in baseball.
You gotta be
David Wright.
kidding me, bro.
His numbers have plummeted every year. And they gotta keep moving the fence in every year so the guy can hit double-digit home runs. He's terrible.
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 Better average than Longoria last year.
I don't care.
More doubles.
Well, yeah, he better hit doubles because he can't hit
More
bombs.
stolen bases. He's never been a big home run guy. That's not his game.
Well, then he should play
Great
second.
defender. You want to talk about that guy that's
Very good defender. I'll give him that. He's a very good defender.
face of the franchise.
Could be the face of baseball.
One of the faces
Yeah.
of baseball. Trout. You got to go Trout.
Yeah, no,
Trout's the face of
Trout, of course, but David Wright, good-looking guy, personable except for what he did 2 weeks ago.
Yeah, you'll get over it.
Yeah,
But he's
I
another.
don't know if I'll get over that. Jay.
You know me, I'm going to talk about this stat later on, a little bit later. Runs scored.
Always.
We talked about it with Rendon.
Yeah.
David Wright's always a guy that's getting between 85 and 100 runs scored.
Yep.
I think it's so important. I like the way that he more than a lot of other players in baseball, you see on a day-to-day basis, he'll do whatever it takes to win. You'll see him steal a base. You'll see him play great defense. You'll see him hit behind the runner. You'll see him at time, hit a bomb. But that's what I like. I like that he's got that old school mentality about him.
He's a gamer.
He's got the pants up and he's a gamer,
No,
and I
is.
feel like he does whatever it takes. And I have Wright and Longoria, kind of neck and neck, and I just
Right.
feel like Wright is going to have a better year this year, and that's what I gave him the edge on. I feel like Kadire, his boy's going to be there. I feel like Anderson's going to settle in. Kevin Long's there as well, and I feel like the pitching is going to reinvigorate the staff. It sounds like him and Syndergaard are getting along
Listen,
great.
I think the Mets can win it all. I truly do. I think they can be in the World Series. Kevin Long is going to be a huge impact on that team. Probably one of the best hitting instructors I've ever heard speak. We played against each other in the minor league, but very knowledgeable about hitting. We talk almost about the same things when you're hitting, about staying connected and being fluid through the ball. I think he's going to be a huge impact on David Wright. And I tell you what, Jay, that it just tells me how underachieving Longoria is.
Yeah.
Because I think he is just so much better than David Wright that he should be number one on the list for the next 10 years. I don't know what's wrong with the guy. I know he had a baby last year. A lot of things could be happening. Who knows what goes on in his personal life?
Yeah, nobody really knows.
But I just think this guy underachieves so much that he should be the number one third baseman in the big leagues, without a doubt.
I agree. I think the potential's there, and there's probably a myriad of reasons of why it's not, but hey, it's not too late. I think
No.
Longoria's got a chance to
How old
bounce
is
back.
he?
He's got to be in his late 20s.
Yeah, what, 26?
Probably a little older.
Yeah?
We'll look
We
it
need to
up.
look that up.
Number 4. Let's go to number 4, Paul. Who you
I
got?
got the guy that will be number one in the next 2 years, but I got Manny Machado, number 4.
Manny Machado going against all the criteria
Go
of your
against
list.
all the criteria of my list. I am going against myself right here, but I just think this kid could be the greatest third baseman. He's got more range than anybody. He's powerful, got a cannon. Only problem is he's injury prone the last 2 years. And when you're young and have a lot of injuries, it's concerning. But
Especially to your knee.
yeah, exactly right. But I just think he's still, with all that, he's one of the top, 5 third basemen in baseball right now.
Does he not remind you of A-Rod?
He is A-Rod. He is A-Rod.
Oh my God.
I just, the only thing I regret not seeing about the kid is the kid playing shortstop. I would have loved to seen him play shortstop in the big leagues.
We're going to talk about shortstops on our next show.
Yeah.
But one of the most underrated guys, and he'll definitely be on my list, top 10, J.J. Hardy.
Oh yeah, oh yeah.
No flash, but he gets the job done, bro.
He looks like he throws like a rusty, like a rusty Iron Mike machine, but he is solid.
He hits bombs, which you like.
Oh yeah.
And he's just that guy. If people always said that about
I
Jeter.
love the guy.
Yeah, people
I
said
love
that
the
about
guy.
Jeter, You got one ground ball, what do you want to hit to?
That's
Jeter.
right.
And I hear Buck Showalter say J.J. Hardy. And every time you see J.J. Hardy, he's making that play.
He's very unassuming.
Yeah, he is.
But-
he's great. He reminds me of Mike Bordick, who was a former
Oh
shortstop.
yeah.
Same
Mike
kind of
Bordick
thing.
with the A's.
Yeah, and the Orioles as well.
Yeah, that's right.
So, you got Machado at number 4. I like
Yes.
it. Number 4, I got Josh Harrison. A little bit higher. Like I said, I had him at
Right.
2 originally, but I had to slot him down because, I got to see it for a little bit more. But what a great year, man.
Oh, no,
315, 13 home runs, 52 RBIs. Only struck out 81 times, 164 hits. I like Josh Harrison. I feel like he fits the mold of a Pittsburgh-type player.
Right. Bill Madlock.
Yeah, Bill
Carbon copy.
Exactly.
Might even be shorter than Bill Madlock. I don't know, but just like built like him. Short, stocky, powerful. Pittsburgh's looking up. That's why I'm still pissed that Martin left Pittsburgh.
Yeah.
I
like Clint Hurdle. I think he fits. There's certain coaches that fit the demographic and the geography of where they are.
He looks like a Pittsburgh.
He looks
more like a Pittsburgh Steeler than a Pirate.
He looks like he'd be related to Terry Bradshaw or something like that.
Oh yeah.
But yeah, those guys that are just Steeler guys, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
You see, the guy that just got cut, Brett Keisler, the guy with the big beard. You're like, that guy's a Steeler.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Absolutely, absolutely.
But you look at this the Pirates team rather. Clint Hurdle's just building such a fun team to watch. They're so fun. Every day you watch them, McCutcheon or Marte or Polanco or Josh Harrison or Neil Walker. You never know. Garrett Cole's great on the mound. I like their attitude. I like the way they play, and it's just they're lunch pail team.
No, absolutely.
Every day they're going to
city.
give you their best every day, and there's
possibly one of the best outfields in the major leagues.
Oh, without a doubt. If Gregory Polanco plays to the ability that he has, you already have two great outfielders in Marte and McCutcheon.
That guy's a beast. Marte's a beast.
And he doesn't even get any love.
Yeah. Well, when you're playing next to the perennial MVP every year, you get overlooked.
That's true. All right, let's go to the top three. Very interested to see how we match on here.
There we go.
Number 3, who do you got?
I got Anthony Rendon.
Rendon, damn, got him up at the top.
Yeah, absolutely.
Wow.
Got to put him up there. I just think he's going to be a guy that explodes in the big leagues this year. Of course, again, he plays for my boy Randy Knorr, but I just think that just talking to Randy about how good the guy is as a hitter, the bat just finds his ball,
Yep.
He
squares a lot of balls up.
He squares a lot of balls up, man, and can play third base.
Originally a second baseman.
Yeah, originally, yeah.
And, but he slid over to third because they've had other guys there, Danny Espinosa, then Asdrubal Cabrera last year, and obviously Yunel Escobar, and Zimmerman was at third. It was a very weird situation there in Washington. Kudos to them for how they handled it. They knew they had to get this guy in the lineup. They knew they were going to kind of piss off Zimmerman a little bit because they had LaRoche at first, but now Zim's going over there.
And LaRoche is out.
Yeah, he's over in Chicago.
Yeah.
But yeah, definitely, great move getting him in the lineup. I definitely think he's one of the best hitters in baseball right now. My number 3, Josh Donaldson. Did you?
Oh, yeah.
You didn't have him on your list?
I don't even have him on my list.
Oh my God! You gotta be kidding me, dude!
No, my next two, listen, shocking. And look,
I can't believe you don't have him on your list.
I don't have him on the list.
Oh my God!
I don't have him on the list.
Are you nuts?
I don't like his beard.
Yeah, he straight up blew me off for an interview.
Yeah, well then you know what? I would have put him at number 20.
I can't.
Really?
As much as he blew me off for an interview, I can't.
What a doucher.
What a doucher! I'm
Yeah.
such a nice guy too.
Well, how can
Josh,
a guy like you?
He was like, I really don't want to do it. And I was like, well, at least
okay,
you're honest.
great, yeah.
Look at the last
You
2 years, 24 and 93 in 2013. And then last year,
I overlooked him. I gotta just tell you. I overlooked him.
29 and 98 last year. Another guy, run scoring machine, 93 last year and 89 the year before. I think this was a terrible trade for Oakland.
Oh, absolutely.
Terrible.
Crazy.
I think the most overrated thing in this game of baseball is the analytics part of it. We talk about this all the time. That Billy Bean crap does not work.
It's crap.
I'm
I don't care
sorry
what you say. It's crap.
I've always
You're
thought
right.
I've always thought bunting was a great thing. You're putting the pressure on the defense, you're getting the ball on the ground, you're moving runners over, and if you got a guy with speed, you might have a base hit.
Absolutely.
Billy Bean and Moneyball, they don't believe in bunting, giving up outs, they want 3-run home runs and all this terrible thing, and it's just, you made a nice movie about it.
Yeah, well, that's all it is.
The movie and the writing and the acting was better than the actual application in real life.
Oh, that's for sure. Listen, Jay, you know as well as I do. You give me a guy that can handle the bat, bunt, hit and run with a little bit of pop, and a good pitching staff, you're going to the World Series almost every year. There's no question about it. Like we talked about, I think it was on the first or second show.
It was the first show. About the pitchers, right?
Yeah. Nobody talked about the pitching on that team.
Yeah.
And that is Moneyball. Listen, hitters are hitters. You're going to have guys that hit.
Dime a dozen.
Exactly right. And that's tough coming from me being an ex-hitter. But listen, pitching's what you're gonna win titles with. If you get, everybody's gonna hit at some given time. That's why batting average is not even followed as much anymore. They look at on-base percentage and run production. You know, who cares? Let's say you're playing today. Who cares if you're hitting 230? Today's today. Maybe you go 4 for 4 today. Well, if you batted 1,000 today, does that mean you're 1,000 hitter? Average is average. It's, you know, you could have a slow start and still be a hell of a hitter.
Exactly.
So, you know, I don't look at that anymore. If you're a pitcher, I don't care what anybody says, you know, and this is one thing that you and I agree on emphatically, is that that money ball is just crap.
It is. And look at, they want to talk about the Red Sox finally winning in 04 about the money ball. They have Manny Ramirez, Pedro Martinez, David Ortiz, Kurt Schilling, they had all these guys.
All of them.
Where's the money ball there?
Yeah.
At the end of the day, you need
Well,
talent.
there was money ball there. The money they paid.
Exactly.
That was
Yeah.
the money ball. That was the money ball. The money they paid out.
I like how they try to say that, oh yeah, that they used their model. There was no model.
Yeah, no model.
And maybe, yeah, all right, you're a consultant, and maybe it helped the bottom third of the roster
Right.
to fill in and get your Trot Nixons or whatever like that. But you're winning that World Series because of the guys that make hundreds of millions of dollars, not because of some fancy schmancy thing that somebody
You're
thought
exactly
up in
right.
their bedroom. Oh, this is a way to get around not having a good payroll.
Who was the third baseman on that team? Because I played against that guy, and when I tell you,
Who was it?
was it Miller spelled Mueller?
Oh, Bill Miller?
Yeah.
Bill
Let
Miller.
me tell you what. I played against that guy in AAA game. That guy had no bat speed. Was, I don't want to say terrible. I don't want to say terrible, but no way he should have been in a big league uniform.
Oh, bro,
no way.
His
Listen.
name was on the Mitchell.
Oh no.
His name was on the Mitchell
Oh
report,
no.
bro.
I know it was. I know it was. And listen to me. That guy, we played against him in Vegas. He hit 4 line drives in a row straight over our dugout, down the third base line, straight over our dugout, and then got sawed off and his bat flew into. I mean, this guy.
It was like embarrassing.
Oh my God! I don't know how this guy played in the big leagues. Somebody must have liked him somewhere, but.
But that's that's, you know.
All you need is one guy.
All you need is one guy. But yeah,
Yeah.
we talked about the era that these guys played in.
Oh yeah.
That's why whenever I hear a guy like Kurt Schilling or David Ortiz talk about performance-enhancing drugs, you're telling me there nobody on that 2014 was on performance-enhancing
Well, I
drugs?
can tell you
He
at
was
least
one
half
guy.
of them were.
Exactly.
At least half of them.
So for these people to get on their high horse and say, oh, we shouldn't do this,
They're all
we
full
shouldn't
of
do
it.
that.
They're all full of it.
Get out of here. So that's who I got at number 3, even though you blew me off for an autograph this
Yeah.
year, Josh Donaldson. I'm looking at you. R.A. Dickey was a lot nicer to me than Josh Donaldson was.
There you go.
I'm not holding any grudges. He seemed like a nice guy. He just didn't,
whatever.
He just didn't want to talk. All right, top 2. What do you got?
I
Number
know
2.
you don't have this guy at all.
Oh my God! Did you put A-Rod on the list?
No.
Oh God.
No. I put Todd Frazier. From
Number
Cincinnati.
2?
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Look at the numbers, brother.
Do you just look at home runs?
No, I don't.
That's
Listen,
it, bro. That's all you look at.
I like him because he had a nice picture with Derek Jeter when he was a
Sure.
kid in the Little League. Listen, the guy is one of the perennial best third basemen year in and year out in the big leagues.
Yeah.
And he plays on a team that really has not a lot of protection around him. I mean, of course, yeah, there's Joey Votto and there's B. Phillips, but Todd Frazier is one of the best, in my opinion, the top 2 third basemen in the big leagues.
You are nuts.
No way, bro.
Nuts.
Check it out.
I'm checking.
Okay,
I'm checking. I'm checking to make sure that I'm not
Falls in line with some
dumb.
former great third basemen for the Red. Chris Sabo.
Chris Sable
Oh my.
with the
big
goggles.
glasses. How about Pete Rose?
Don't you dare put Pete Rose in the same category as Todd Frazier.
Well, no, but Todd Frazier, listen, I just think he's got an ugly swing, Jay, but he's an all-around, in my opinion, one of the best third basemen in the big leagues.
Bro, Todd Frazier doesn't even make my top 15.
Well, listen, Josh Donaldson, I didn't even put him in there.
Yeah, but Josh
Because-
Donaldson should have been in the
he
top
had
10.
one good year. Maybe he...
No, he's had 3 good years
maybe
now.
he touched a little special sauce himself. I don't know. That guy looked pretty gunned up to me. You stood next to him.
Nah, he wasn't too good though.
Oh, okay, yeah, on a big
Todd
shirt.
Frazier at number 2.
Why not, bro?
That's because you grew up a Reds fan. Okay, I'm starting to matriculate
Yeah,
around the way you make your picks. It's either he's Italian, you're represented by Alan Nero, or
There
he
you go.
plays for your boy Randy Knorr,
Yeah.
or he played for your
My
childhood
all-time
team.
favorite team. And listen, you're lucky I didn't put A-Rod in there. You're lucky because
see,
that guy right now is batting about a 520 clip.
I was mentally preparing myself for the A-Rod inclusion on this list, and I'm actually kind of disappointed that you don't have.
Oh no, but we're going to talk about him in a few minutes
Oh God.
after the list is done.
All right, number 2.
Who you got?
I had to put him
Okay.
this high. Who do you think I put?
I don't know, but just say it.
Manny Machado.
Okay, hey, I can't
Manny
argue with you.
Machado. You said it before. One of the top 5.
It looks like
third
our number
basemen.
ones are the
Yeah,
same.
Easy.
Yeah.
I don't think Machado's just a top 5 third baseman. I think he's one of the top 10 players in baseball.
Absolutely. If he can stay healthy.
Yeah,
If he stays healthy.
I tend to think it was a little more of a freak injury, of what he was going, kind of running down the baseline kind of thing. This guy, he's just so unbelievable to me. His doubles are going to go down because as he gets older, his power's going to go up. I think his home
Right.
runs will increase. But for this guy to hit 50 doubles at such a young age and to play platinum glove defense, forget gold glove.
Yeah,
He's
platinum.
Platinum glove.
He is ridiculous.
He
I've never
makes-
seen a guy range to his right.
So far, he's
Yeah.
almost in the dugout.
Yeah, and throwing the ball.
Yeah.
And knows that, hey, I can take an extra couple of steps because I'm gunning you anyway.